Good morning. Happy Sabbath. Can you hear me okay? Okay. I see some of the kids don't want to come up anymore. That's okay. Well, I have a question. How many of you have been on an airplane? Have you been on an airplane? No? Well, my story comes from Democratic Republic of Congo. We had been in a village called Kalima. Kalima was this place that took a long time to get there. You had to first fly to one city, and then you had to get in a big dugout canoe. The canoe was probably from the Oregon to here. And it was out of one tree. And then you had to get in a car and drive and drive and drive. Well, when we got there, these people had never heard about Jesus before. And when we told them about the good news of Jesus coming again, they were so excited. They were jumping and so happy that we had to wait for 15 minutes till they calmed down. Well, we were very happy to work with these people, and there were many people who were baptized. The first Sabbath, there were over 100, and then the next Sabbath, there were about 200, wasn't there? Well, these people didn't have the Bible. And we had come back from the U.S., and we were staying in Chigoma, which is the capital of DRC. And while we were there, we got an idea, because a doctor came to visit us, and he was from that town we had been in. He grew up there. And he said, my people still don't have Bibles. And we said, you know what? We have a few days before we go back to the U.S. where we might be able to make a trip there and give some Bibles. So we got this idea that we could go. And so we got a couple cases of Bibles, and then we thought, how are we going to get there? We don't have money to get a ticket to fly out there. And then there was a man who worked with ADRA, and he said, I know what we can do. We'll make you, what did they call us?
Nutritional consultants.
They said, we'll make you a badge that says you are nutritional consultants for ADRA. And then you'll be able to go on the humanitarian plane and go there. And we'll just send you some rice and different things with the Bibles, and you can go in there. So he said, that sounds like a good plan. So they made us badges that we work with ADRA, which is a relief agency that works with the church. And so we got all ready, and they said, you cannot put any bags under the airplane. You have to carry everything you're going to take. So we put all the Bibles in backpacks. Ooh, it was heavy, but we carried them. And we had the rice and different things. We were loaded with God's Word. And you know what? We got on the plane, and the plane went off up in the air. And you know what was happening as we were up in the air? We did not know until we landed that the airplane that took off right behind us had crashed and catapulted into the market. Anyone read the book 122, Flight 122? That was the flight that fell into the market right after we had taken off. And there were missionaries on that plane, and God did some amazing things for them. But we didn't have a way to get home because all the flights were grounded after we had taken off, because they wanted to figure out why this plane had crashed. Well, we didn't know what we were going to do. We delivered the Bibles, and everything was wonderful. The people were so happy to get their Bibles. And then we were coming back, and they said, there's no airplanes going. You cannot go. We thought, how are we going to get home? Our plane to go to the U.S. is leaving in just a couple days. How are we going to do it? Well, we went to the UN, United Nations, and they said, I know what we can do. We can get an airplane here if you say that you're really sick. And we said, well, we're not sick. We can't lie, because if you lie, it will keep you out of heaven. We cannot lie and say we're sick. So they were so amazed. They said, if you just said that you were really sick, we could get a helicopter here and you'd be out of here in no time. staying where the soldiers were staying. And the leaders there were so impressed that we wouldn't lie. They said, we got to hear more about you and what you believe in. So we were sharing with them and telling them. And then they said, I know what. I know how we can get you out of here. There's an airplane that is coming, and the general of the Congo army knows when it's coming. Let's go to his house. So we went to his house, the general of the Congo army, and he said, it's top secret. I can't tell you when the airplane's coming. But you go to the airport and you wait at the airport, and I'll make sure you get in there first class. So we went to the airport, and we're waiting, and we're waiting. We're waiting all day because we couldn't know when the airplane would come, because that was military secret. So then the UN official climbed the tower to the top, to the control tower, to try to figure out when this airplane was coming. And he said, it's still coming today. So we continued to wait. And then the airplane arrived. And you know what? They started unloading all this artillery and all these weapons. I don't know even what to call them. They were throwing them out, and the people were catching them. And they looked really heavy, but the people were catching them and putting them down. And then they said, okay, it's your turn to get on, and you get to be in first class. Have you ever seen what first class usually looks like? Usually looks really nice couches and everything. So I thought, first class, what does that mean? So we get on the airplane, and you know what? There was no seats at all. And so we thought, how are we going to brace ourselves so we don't go flying when the airplane goes up? So we leaned up against the wall, and they said, no, don't do that. It's going to open up, and you fly out. So we kind of tried to brace ourselves on the floor, and you know what? They started bringing chickens and goats and cows on the airplane. And then we were able to go in this airplane with no seats, and we didn't fly to the end of the airplane. It was nice and smooth till we got to Igoma, and we got on our flight just fine. You know what? God helped us get out of the way, didn't he? He honored the fact that we didn't want to lie. When you keep the commandments, God does bless you, and he helps you figure out a way. It may not come out immediately, but he always has a way. All right, let me go back to your seats.